ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम ध्यायामि चिन्मयानन्दं गुरुदेवं महामतिं प्रेमपूर्णं क्रियाशीलं सदा लोकहिते रतं कृपालुं सुन्दराकारं समर्थं सत्यदर्शिनं वाचा तत्त्वप्रकाशिन्या शोकमोहविनाशिनम्। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम नमो नारायणाय। 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 ओम ऋतगं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः। ओम नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात्। हरि ओम, सुप्रभातम्। ओम शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ओम शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिहृद्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम्। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। We will chant from the 14th shloka. Om सर्वगः सर्वविद्भानुर्विश्वक्सेनो जनार्दनः वेदो वेदविदव्यङ्गो वेदाङ्गो वेदवित्कविः लोकाध्यक्षः सुराध्यक्षो धर्माध्यक्षः कृताकृतः चतुरात्मा चतुर्व्यूहश्चतुर्दंष्ट्रश्चतुर्भुजः भ्राजिष्णुर्भोजनं भोक्ता सहिष्णुर्जगदादिजः अनघो विजयो जेता विश्वयोनिः पुनर्वसुः उपेन्द्रो वामनः प्रांशुरमोघः शुचिरूर्जितः अतीन्द्रः संग्रहः सर्गो धृतात्मा नियमो यमः. Among the 12 names of the shloka, we have seen already 12 names we have seen. Yesterday we were talking about the niyamaha and yamaha, where niyamaha means sveshu sveshu adhikareshu praja niyamayati iti niyamaha, the one who appoints the appropriate authority and administers the actual work properly to them and makes them do it properly. This is niyamaha. And then we also have the word in the Yoga Sutras, niyama, which is a sadhana for the sadhaks. And from that standpoint, shaucham, purity. There was an error yesterday in the slide which we have corrected. Shaucham is purity, purity in thought, word and deed. Santoshaha is contentment, or otherwise can be called as happiness. By and large, santosha we attribute it to happiness, but that happiness is not born out of any other source. That happiness is not because of something, but that happiness is our own nature. And that happiness can be experienced only when we have this beautiful quality called contentment. Acharya Shankara very beautifully says, Vidhivashat praptena santushyatam. Whatever has come to me, accept it as his prasad and be contented. In other words, be happy. Therefore, santosha, and that santosha is possible only when we develop this quality called contentment. And contentment meaning what? Contentment not only after gaining those things and situations, but contentment in whatever conditions of life. Let anything happen in life, good, bad, indifferent, doesn't matter. That is part of life. Now accepting it gracefully, accepting it as it is, and accepting it without complaints is santoshaha. Then comes tapas. Tapas is what? Austerity. All this we have seen in detail yesterday. Austerity is nothing but certain disciplines. Certain disciplines which will allow me to proceed further towards the Lord and which will not disturb me because of whatever is happening around. Let not the situation affect me. I take to certain disciplines to. There are two ways of looking at it. Discipline is not to condition the mind. Discipline actually to expand the mind, accommodate whatever happens and leave them there. Yathasthiti, leave them there and proceed further, march forward in the path of our sadhana. Swadhyaya, self-study, is very, very important. Of course, we all know it. Very interestingly, we know Swadhyaya. But how many of us honestly take it up as a discipline for ourselves without any pressure from outside? Pressure from outside will give us information, will give us data, will fill this bonnet, as Gurudev would put it. Will fill this bonnet with information. But self-study is what will take us towards the supreme, and it will give us that joy of learning. Jnana prapti siddhyartham sadhana, But Jnana Yogyata will give us Santosha. Ishvara Pranidhana is the fifth one, where I surrender unconditionally at the feet of Bhagavan. And Bhagavan, as I said, initially an Ishtadevata. It can start from Guru. A Guru can also be an Ishtadevata. Like for example, for people like us, Gurudev is everything. Gurudev himself is Vishnu, Gurudev himself is Shiva, Gurudev himself is Brahma. So like that, taking the Guru himself, Naguror adhikam tattvam, Naguror adhikam tapaha, it is said. So taking the Guru itself as the high is also a very beautiful sadhana. But very many times the mind and the limitations in the mind for what it is, very many times will find fault with Guru and will not have certain right connectivity. So then you take one Ishtadevata. Either it can be Rama, it can be Krishna, it can be Shiva, it can be Devi, Ganapati, Hanuman, whichever. We have got plenty. But all are one and the same, but we look at it that way. However, whichever Devata you are able to connect yourself, in spite of whatever happens, to that Ishtadevata, Ishvara Pranidhana, surrendering. This is Niyama. And then comes Yamaha. This also we discussed yesterday. Yamaha is what? The one who controls. Antaryachati iti Yamaha. Today we have added one more line. Antartishtan Yamayati iti Yamaha. Antartishtan, sitting inside us, he gets things happen. This is another very important quality which we have to develop. What is that quality? Never take that I have done anything. Never take that I only can do everything. It is he who is getting things through these gadgets called body, mind and intellect. So, Antartishtan Yamayati, he guides us. Alright, Yamaha. And then if you take to the disciplines, Ahimsa, non-injury, Satyam, truthfulness, all this we have dealt yesterday. Asteyam, non-stealing, Brahmacharya, integrity and moderation. We have added one more word, moderation. Parampuja Swami Chidananji would often tell us in our classes. Moderation in everything, including moderation. Because if you try to deny everything, mind can rebel, mind can react. After all, it is mind. Therefore, accept certain conditions and moderate in your thinking. Therefore, that is Brahmacharya, an integrity of the personality of body, mind and intellect, and then work intelligently with the world outside. Aparigraha, not non-hoarding is the direct translation. But the best translation would be generosity. What is generosity? Give it away. Parampuja Gurudev would say, if your car and bungalow and bank balance and everything cannot give you happiness, why keep it? Give it away. He would say. Because today, how many of us, in fact all of us know, anything and everything can give me happiness only at the initial stage and not beyond. Be it person, be it thing, be it situation, a certain conditionings which we are looking forward other than me, outside of me, cannot give me permanent happiness. Whoever it may be, whatever it may be the situation, whatever the things, how much ever you may have, it cannot give me that supreme happiness. Therefore, the best way to get out of this tendency of hoarding is give it away. So that is called as aparigraha. With that, we come to the end of 17th shloka and we will take up the 18th shloka. Vedyo Vaidyas Sada Yogi Viraha Madhavo Madhu अतीन्द्रियो महामायो महोत्साहो महाबलः वेद्यो वैद्यः सदा योगी वीरः माधवो मधुः अतीन्द्रियो महामायो महोत्साहो महाबलः. We have about 10 names in this particular shloka. Vedyaha. Vedyaha means nishchayesarthya nishreyasarthibhihi vedanarhatvat vedyaha. The one who is to be known by all the seekers of nishreyas. Nishreyas means the one who is the real goal of life, who is the ultimate end and nothing further to be gained. Remember the often oft-quoted statement which I quote everywhere? Kasminnu bhagavo vijñate yena sarvamidam vijñatam bhavati. There nothing more needs to be known. In our laukika dharma, in our laukika jivana, we will find the objective knowledge never ends. What is today new is stale tomorrow. It is outdated tomorrow. Because science, technology keeps improving. So there is nothing called end in objective knowledge, whereas in the subjective knowledge, once you gain the knowledge of the Supreme, every time when we say gain the knowledge of the Supreme, gain the knowledge of the Lord, gain the knowledge of Brahman, it means gain the knowledge of my own true nature. Lord, God, Supreme, Reality, Truth, Brahman are all synonyms. Of what? Of my own nature, my own inner true nature. Therefore, that is the supreme goal of human life. In fact, that alone is the goal of human life. The rest are all short-term goals. The long-term and permanent goal is Nishreyas. Nishreyasa arthibhihi vedanarhatvat. Arhatvat meaning what? That deserving, yogyata of what? Of Nishreyas. Therefore, he is called as ultimate end Vedyaha Bhagavan. And he alone is to be known. Rest are always. Now look at this shlokas in Gita. Gita says, Nyeyam yattat pravakshyami yajñatva amritamashnute. Bhagavan says, I will teach you that knowledge. I will give you that knowledge. Yajñatva, having gained which? Amritamashnute, one will reach immortality. Once we gain that sthiti of immortality, now please note, that is a state which we have to wake up. Once we wake up to that amritatva, then you will find this ephemeral world never existed. Like how we wake up from a dream. While the dream is going on, it is so, indulging, it's so captivating, it's so drawing inside. We are drowned in samsara. But when we wake up to the higher self, gain the knowledge of the Supreme, we will find the whole, this complete world, what we are seeing as real today, when you wake up, you will find this never existed. There was only one Supreme Reality, that Brahman alone. Amritamashnute. Again and again he reiterates in Gita. In fact, in Gita means Bhagavad Gita. In case you are wondering which Gita. Bhagavad Gita, time and again, in fact, in every chapter, Bhagavan continuously whips us with these thoughts. Think, yam labdhva, having gained which, cha aparam labham manyate na adhikam tataha. Na adhikam manyate. There is nothing nothing more to be gained. Yam labdva. Yam labdva means reaching that supreme. Vedaischa sarvai ahameva vedyaha. Among those knowledges which we are gaining in the world, the real knowledge that has to be gained is aham eva. This aham is a very beautiful word there. Aham means I. Now, Krishna, when he is teaching Arjuna, he is teaching from the standpoint of not blue boy of Vrindavan. He is teaching from the standpoint of the Supreme. I alone are to be known. From which standpoint? From the Supreme standpoint. And very interestingly, it is called as I, which also indicates I, the real I in me. That alone is Vedyaha. Therefore, Vedyaha is also called as Vedyaha. Vaidyaha. This is another very interesting word. Vaidya, normally we relate it with medication, medicines. What is the knowledge here? Sarva vidyanam veditritvat tvat. It should be veditritvat vaidyaha. He is the person who knows all vidyas. It's very interesting. We have some people who have got lot of degrees. I myself know of a person who has got 7 PhDs. At the age of 78 or 79, he was studying consciously, constantly, and all the time he was with the books. And when we asked him, he said, Swamiji, I am now giving my PhD on this particular subject. He has already gained 7 subjects PhD. And again he is gaining. It only indicates the limitations of the objective knowledge. As I had quoted earlier also, which we say in our mother tongue, Tamil Bhasha, Katradu kaimannalavu, kalladadu ulagalavu. What I have learnt, how much ever degree, how much ever number of degrees, number of PhDs I may get, what I have learnt is only one handful of sand in comparison to what I have not learnt, which is equivalent to the whole universe. Therefore, objective knowledge is always limited. And the one who has knowledge of everything meaning everything, nothing excluded, is Bhagavan. Why is it so? Because he is the creator of everything. Without the knowledge, how can you create anything? We can't create one simple upma in our kitchen without proper knowledge of making upma. Is it not? Think. And Bhagavan has created the whole universe. Therefore, Sarva Vidyanam. He is the knower of Sarva Vidya. Sada Yogi. Who is a yogi? A yogi is one who works towards accomplishment of those which has not been accomplished. Now see, Sada Avirbhutatvat Sada Yogi. Acharya Shankara writes, he is Sada Avirbhutatvat. He has already accomplished everything. Now we perform yoga, or we claim ourselves to be a yogi, a karma yogi, a bhakti yogi, or a jnana yogi. We are called as yogi for what? Because we are in the track, in the path of a particular destination which we have not yet gained. Samskrita it is said, Yujyate iti yogaha. Yoga is what? The association, the merging with, the union with, anything for that matter. This association, merging, presupposes that which I have not achieved and I am yet to achieve, and I am in the process of achieving. Now look at this, the one for whom everything is already accomplished. In the sense what? There is nothing for accomplishing. Other than Parabrahma Swarupa, other than our true nature, there is nothing more to be achieved. Everything, whatever we accomplish, whatever we gain in this world outside, Udara Nimittam. Think. It is only for survival. That even dog and donkey survive. They also do their work, their part of work to survive. Think. We see in the roads sometimes when we are walking in the roads or somewhere, there will be one dog running so fast. Why is the dog running so fast? What is there for the dog to achieve, you tell me? But then it is running. Why? It has to reach there and do something. It has got something in its mind. Don't we understand? The Akara stored. Why should that run so fast? Sometimes it scares people all around with the speed it runs. If you actually analyze, where is the dog running? It is just running, that's all. There is nothing much to achieve there. Similarly, we are also running. From pillar to post we are running. For what? To gain that, to gain this, to achieve that, to achieve this. Then what? This then what remains a question until we reach the tomb. Think. Because we are only trying to acquire and accomplish the objective world. Once we understand and achieve the subjective world, you will find everything is me only. When everything is me only, where is the question of trying to achieve, working to gain, etc.? I am everything. This is the highest stand. And our yoga must be to gain that. Now, Bhagavan is a yogi, Sada yogi, meaning what? He is the destination itself. Therefore, he is Sada yogi. Viraha, I have given two numbers here, 741 and 927. This Viraha appears other than the 166th Nama, even in 741st Nama and 927th Nama, it is Viraha. This recently we have started to give you the numbers where all it appears. We will try to see how much we can try and give you those names. Viraha. Dharmatranaya Viran Asuran Hantiti Viraha. Vira ha. Ha means to kill. Vira ha means to kill Viran. Immediately we should not jump to conclusion. All Vira Purushas Bhagavan wants to kill. That only human beings do. That only human beings do. Everybody wants to kill who are coming up in life. Crab mentality we say. To pull the others down. Think. That only human beings do. Viraha, that is why Acharya very clearly indicates Viran Asuran Hanti. The one who is a Rakshasa. Rakshasa again is not outside. Please, time and again remember, Rakshasa are not outside. We ourselves are our own Rakshasas. Kama Krodha Adi Shadvairinaha is our Rakshasa. We don't have to search outside. Dharmatranaya. Dharmatranaya meaning what? To protect Dharma. Therefore we see, what is those two shlokas? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanama dharmasya tadatmanam sajamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Therefore he is called as Viraha, the only Vira Purusha who can kill all the inner Rakshasas in us. Madhavaha, another very beautiful name, very fascinating name, very highly loved name among the various names of Sri Krishna. Madhava is a very joyful name. But what is the meaning? Madhavaha. This is how we split. What is Madhavaha? Mayaha Vidyayaha Patihi Madhavaha, otherwise known as the Lord of Knowledge. Ma means knowledge. Dhavaha means the one who has gained the highest knowledge. The one who is the highest knowledge. The one who is the Lord of all knowledges. Therefore, he is called Madhavaha. We have got so many beautiful bhajans with this nama. And in fact, you will find many of the Krishna bhajans will not be complete without this word. Madhava Madhusudana Giridhari Giridhari. And one of my favorite bhajans. Madhavaha. Madhuhu. Again, this is another very beautiful nama. Madhu means what? Yata madhum param pritam utpadayati ayamapi tatha iti madhuhu. Yatha it should be Mahaprana. Yatha param madhum pritim. Priti meaning what? How? The way people love sweets. And madhu generally is attributed to honey. Honey is supposed to be the most very sweetest product. People love to eat honey. That is why some people call their wives also honey, especially in the American culture. Calling the wife as honey is very, very common. Allah, we will take it at that face value for whatever it is. Madhum param pritim utpadayati. The way sweets brings in joy. Sweets bring in that excellent, joyful experience. Similarly, ayamapi tatha iti madhuhu. Bhagavan brings so much of joy, therefore he is called sweet. Adharam madhuram vadanam madhuram nayanam madhuram hasitam madhuram chalitam madhuram vamitam madhuram madhuradhipate rakhilam madhuram. Madhuradhipate, adhipate of madhu, akhilam madhuram. In him, everything is madhuram. Walking is madhuram, eyes are madhuram, ears are madhuram, nose is madhuram, his feet, his palms are madhuram, feet is madhuram, laughing is madhuram. He probably must be a very strong diabetic patient. Think, madhuram. So he is madhuhu because everything is sweet, everything is lovable, everything is adorable. Yatha madhum param pritim utpadayati. Pritim utpadayati. Anything that is very sweet, even though I am a diabetic patient, when I see the sweet, my mind runs behind the sweet. Why? Sweet is always sweet, you see. Somebody said, if you eat sweet, further, you are a very strong diabetic patient. If you eat sweet again, you will die. Then he said, no problem, sir. Let me die sweetly. Think. So sweet is so attractive, you know. Whomever who is nice to us will say, oh, so sweet, we say. This sweet word is so sweet, you know. Therefore, he is called, and Bhagavan is, who can be more sweeter than Bhagavan, tell me? To talk of people, we see small little children. The moment we see the children, however the children's constitution may be, we see that sweetness in the children. Why? It is devoid of ahankara. It is devoid of ego. And anything that is devoid of ego must be sweet, and that can only be Bhagavan. God plus ego, human being. Therefore, human being minus ego must be God. Think. Therefore, anybody without ego has to be sweet, and therefore they have to be Bhagavan, and therefore Bhagavan is called as Madhuhu. Atindriyaha, the 169th name, very beautifully declares the one who is beyond the objectifiable goal of Indriyas. Now look at that. Shabdadi rahitatvat. Shabda adi. Shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha. All these are what? These are all the faculties which are senses. And indriyanam avishayaha. Avishayaha meaning what? Indriyas have got their own vishaya. Color and form is the vishaya for the eyes. Sound is the vishaya for the ears. Taste is the vishaya for the tongue. Smell is the vishaya for the nose. Touch is the vishaya for the skin. And Bhagavan is not objectifiable by any of these five. There are very many people, of course, I restrict it to myself. Very many people say, I saw Bhagavan today. How? I saw him in like a Jyoti in my meditation. Bhagavan is like Jyoti Swarupa. All these are all very nice words to use and give an alambana to the mind to understand that Bhagavan is light of knowledge, all that, it is okay. But Bhagavan is that principle which cannot be comprehended by eyes, nose, sound, taste, touch, ityadi. Therefore, Acharya says, Shabdadi rahitatvat. Bhagavan is not a sound where I can listen to Bhagavan from the ears. Bhagavan is not a form. We have given form to Bhagavan. For what? For my mind to rest. For my mind to connect itself. One personification is given. Bhajans are glorifying his nama. That is only for the mind to reach him. All these are all initial stages, they are fine. But true Bhagavan, the supreme reality, is beyond objectifiable product. Think. Therefore, Shabdadirahitatvat Indriyanam Avishayaha. He cannot be objectified by any of the Indriyas. Why is it? Indriyas are the only means of knowledge we have. Think. And without Indriyas, we cannot gain the knowledge of anything. Indriyas have to objectify and interpret. Think. And Bhagavan is beyond Indriyas. Avishayaha iti atindriyaha. Continuing. Mahamayaha. Mahamayaha meaning what? The one who is the biggest magician. Mayavi. We have in our days we have seen PC Sarkar, etc., etc. These magicians who out of some trick basically, who do lot of magic, isn't it? And we say, oh, so beautiful, so wonderful. If you open this Facebook or YouTube channel, even there is a very fanciful activity even in the foreign countries also. I thought it's only in India, but even foreign countries, all these are there. Suddenly bringing one flower or suddenly bringing one, the pigeon kind of things. All these are all magicians. How many of us have forgotten that Bhagavan has created such a magical product? Me, myself. Me when I say you for yourself. Please. Don't say they're correct. You are such a magical product only. Bhagavan only can understand. Not that way. Think. Remember, just see our physical body. The bestest most scientist, I know my English is wrong. The bestest most scientist cannot create another body of this kind. The body creates heat by itself when the atmosphere is cold. When the atmosphere is hot, the body generates that kind of, even sweat is also a very important product. And in fact, many people don't like sweat. But sweating is a very healthy process. I remember I was staying in Mangalore for 5 years. I have stayed in Mangalore, 4.5 years. I have stayed in Mangalore. And in Mangalore, you sweat like a pig. But you are so healthy. Very healthy. All those places, Chennai for example, you will sweat like anything. But because of that, we are very healthy. Think. Body generates that kind of a thing to keep itself fit. But it is only the mind, the foolish mind, which uses the same body indiscriminately and creates problem to the body. By itself, body is beautiful. Look at the placement of everything. The eyes. 2 eyes see one vision. Think. So beautifully created. You cannot create this. Think. How beautifully our nose is placed. Maybe short, maybe long, maybe fat, maybe big, maybe small. But it has its own beauty in itself. Think. Look at the mouth. Non-stop nonsense talking, probably. Or non-stop indiscriminately eating, probably. But then it remains so beautiful and humble and very serving us so well. Think. Look at the fingers. 5 fingers of the same hand are not alike. But the activity what this middle finger can do, this thumb cannot do. What index finger is used for, you don't use the other fingers for that. Do you say, I will beat you? No, you use only the index finger. Is it not? This is the way the world is. Think. Everything has its own importance. There is not a single thing in this body which is redundant. Think. Who can create such a body? What better magic can be there? Tell me. Look at the mind. The mind is happy sometime, mind is sorrowful sometime, mind is disturbed sometime, mind is calm sometime. Everything is beautifully, it changes to accommodate ourselves. But because of our expectation, our mind is agitated. But the same person, if he decides to be calm in spite of agitation, in circumstances, the mind can be rendered calm. Think. That ability, that capacity to remain calm in spite of situations and not because of situations is a beautiful creation by Bhagavan. Think. What is not a magic in our life? This whole universe, whatever the so-called human being claim that he has achieved, technology is improved like anything. Modern world. This word modern is used from the ancient time. Think. And what is today is becomes ancient for a few years from now. It is constantly going on. How beautiful is this creation? Rains, sun rising at the particular time, nurturing the whole universe. How beautiful is this creation? Is he not a greatest magician then? Think. It has brought us to listen to Vedanta also. What a magic! Think. When so much of whims and fancies are available outside, so much of pleasurable things are available outside, we still listen to Vedanta. Isn't it a bigger magic also? Think. Therefore, Mahamaya Bhagavan. Maha Utsaha. Mahotsaha means the one who is fully inspired. Now please remember, think about this. To create 84 lakhs of species in this world, how much of patience one must have? How much of enthusiasm one must have? To create, I'll use that same example because I am so happy with that example, because it is my own personal, private, subjective experience. To create one upma, how much of enthusiasm is required? Tell me. Isn't it? I on the other day for one function, I had requested one of the cook to make jangir, and he came and made it there. He holds like that cloth and cloth, ting, 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 ting. What a creation! And how much of joy it brings when you eat it. Think, when such petty things you get joy, imagine 84 lakhs of species. And in that one species, human being. And in this one human being species, no two people are alike. Each one is a unique personality. How much of enthusiasm Bhagavan must have had to create such characters in this world, think. Think. Therefore, Maha Utsaha. Jagat Utpatti Sthiti Layartham Udyuktavan. Udyuktavan Mahotsaha. Think. Udyuktava. Vat is there, it should be Udyuktavan. Mahabalaha, the very most strongest person. Balinamapi Balavatvat. Mahabalaha, the one who is stronger than the strongest. Who else can be stronger than Bhagavan? Isn't it? All of us, when we identify with our own individuality, we are weak when compared to the greatest Bhagavan. This does not require explanation. We all know, isn't it? We seek strength from him. Therefore, he must be stronger than us. Obviously. And he is stronger than the strongest. And he is the strength in the strongest. Therefore, Mahabalaha. With this, we have completed the 18th shloka. We will continue tomorrow. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.